Hey, my name is Mike, and we've been talking about the steps to plant a church. And today, I just want to take a little bit and talk about how to run through your services so that on launch Sunday, it doesn't feel like you're practicing on people that are there for the first time. A first impression is a lasting impression, and you only really get one launch Sunday. So I think it's really important that you consider all the details and specifics that go into launching your church strong, especially when it comes to your first impression, when it comes to having your first service. I know that money is going to be tight. I know that details and specifics might get overlooked, and I understand that your first Sunday might not always be your best Sunday, but you want to put your best foot forward. And one of the ways that we try to recommend that you do that is by not practicing on people. Maybe that's a value for you in this pre-launch season, is like never practice on people. And the way to do that is you got to build margin in your pre-launch phase to ensure that you have all of your equipment, you have all of your team, and you have all of the logistics needed and necessary weeks before you actually start. So you don't want to be assembling the worship team on Thursday before launch Sunday. You want to be assembling the worship team 3-4 months prior so that they can gain the chemistry needed to lead people into worship without it being distracting. One of the things that I've seen done lately is, the worship team is practicing months and months before they ever play in front of people. That's how we did it. When we launched Focus Church here in Raleigh, North Carolina, we asked an established church if we could borrow their facility and meet in a kid's classroom or a youth room. We didn't even need to use their equipment. We just needed a roof and some electrical outlets to practice. And I'm so grateful for that church that allowed our worship team to get better before people ever showed up. Let me encourage you to do the same. Build that worship team out months in advance so that when the music hits the first note, it's unified and together, and the chemistry is there and it's not distracting. Another thing is to prepare your sermon well in advance, especially that launch Sunday message. It's important that you're not scrambling or fumbling on the first Sunday, because the first impression is a lasting impression. And another thing to do is to build margin in preview services or practice services. We rented the school that we launched in a month before we ever launched, and we held 3 preview services and 1 practice just set up and tear down. So our first week that we were in the school was just, can we set this thing up and tear it down without killing ourselves? And that's what we did. So we didn't worry about preaching. We didn't worry about music on the first practice run through Sunday. We just got in there, unloaded all of our equipment, set it all up, looked at it, made some minor adjustments, made a bunch of notes, tore it all back down, put it all back in, and we said, okay, we can do those 2 things in a timely manner. Here are the things that we need to change and adjust for next week. Then we said, okay, next Sunday, we're going to set it all up again with the minor tweaks that we made in between weeks. And we're going to do some worship. So we're going to sound check, we're going to video check, and we're going to check the message microphone. And we're going to do some worship, a short set, and I'm going to preach the message to 35, 40 people who were on our team at the time. Why am I doing this? Because I want to make sure that we have ample time to make any adjustments, to tweak the sound. I want to make sure that the first time I'm in front of guests and the first time I'm in front of people is not the first time that we've ever done this. And so that was the second week. And then the third week, we added another song, and I preached the same message again, but it got better. I had gotten some feedback that week from the Holy Spirit and my wife, which seemed to be in sync all the time. And so I got better at that message, and we did it again. And we got faster at setting up and faster at tearing down and tighter as a band and smoother as a preacher and a communicator. And then that last week, the week before our launch service, we just did the full service with no breaks, no questions, non-stop, as if it was the real thing. And that really helped solidify the following week, which was our launch Sunday. Now, if I could go back and do it all over again, what I would have done is actually rented out the school on the Saturday and the Sunday of launch weekend, and I would have set up on that Saturday night or Saturday morning and had a family and friends service on that Saturday. So what I would have done is done that whole month leading up to it, and then an additional Saturday night friends and family invite only service. I would have had a time of commissioning from some of our overseers, a time of communion for our team, and a time for us to really iron out all the details prior to the next day, which would have been launch Sunday. I would have had like a nice catered meal there afterwards where everyone could hang out and join together and meet one another. This is what I would have done. I did not do this, but I've seen it done, and what I've noticed is that it really helps the momentum and propel the launch team and the family and friends that are there forward. So on Saturday night before the Sunday morning launch, I would have had an invite only family and friends service. And that would have got all the tweaks, all the kinks worked out. At that point, you have been in that room 5 times before your first public service. That's my encouragement. Then at public service, know this: not everything is perfect. Something's gonna break. Something's been in a trailer all week, jostled around. Someone forgot to put batteries in the microphone. Someone forgot to plug the lights in. Someone forgot the kids, diapers and wipes. I don't know, whatever it is. Just don't worry. You have Sunday comes every 6 days, and you just continually make it better. Continually make it better. But if I can encourage you to not make your first Sunday in front of guests your first Sunday at all. It should be your 4th, 5th, or 6th time doing the same exact thing. And over time, you'll get better. Over time, you'll establish a rhythm. Over time, you'll realize what you do need and what you don't need and how to be more efficient. But my encouragement to you would be, you only get one shot to make a first impression. And to make that launch Sunday great, you probably need to rewind the clock and have everything purchased and ordered at least a month beforehand, so that everything kind of falls in rhythm and everything kind of flows and falls in sync. Hope that helps. I'm grateful to be able to spend some time with you. I'll see you very soon.